How's it going, YouTube? Mo Sports Network here, and welcome to the first episode of MSBL Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Mollenkoff, and today we're going to be talking about the Mo Sports Baseball League, and we are going to be discussing the first preseason power rankings. But first off, there have been a couple free agent signings around the Mo Sports Baseball League. If you tuned into the draft episode yesterday, you know every player on all the teams for the most part. But you're going to learn more about each team. You only learned about their best players, but you're going to learn about all of them sooner rather than later. But I'm going to talk about a couple free agent signings. The first signing, if we go over to the Michigan Machine, they added Adam Wainwright, a player they didn't draft, but he was a free agent from the Cardinals, and he to Michigan. Then we go over to Omaha. Omaha did not have a first baseman of MLB, so they added Albert Pujols, the old man himself. He will be playing for Omaha. And then finally, if we go over to the Portland Penguins, they added Shin Soo Choo, the 37-year-old outfielder. He is now on the Portland Penguins as they did not have a serviceable left fielder. So that's that for transactions. So we're going to go right away and dive in to my preseason power rankings. We're just going to talk about a little more about each team than we talked about in the draft episode, but it's not going to be too long. We're going to start off the first team. We're going to talk about the team I have in last place in the power rankings to start the year is the OKC Hero, a super young team, a team that has uber potential to develop. If you go over and you look at their AAA roster, you're going to see a lot of potential. You see guys like Andrew Vaughn, Shed Long, and even on their major league roster. AA, you got Jared Kalensik, Carlos, you got him. You got some good guys like Alec Baum. He's a potential young guy. Tasker Hernandez. He's going to be a starter for this team more than likely, but he's a young, still pretty young, who can develop. Gary Sanchez, Ketel Marte, and Fernando Tatis are all going to develop into solid players. But they're not there yet, and I want to tell you why. First of all, they're very young. Their best player overall-wise is Ketel Marte at only an 88. Most teams have at least a 90 or 2. Ketel Marte is only there. And the offense is their best part. Their ace pitcher is Lance McCullers. They have John Gray there as well. They were the last place team in spring training this year, which is what a lot of these rankings are based off of. The ERA for them was not great, and their offense was even worse. Numbers-wise, so that's why OKC comes in last. And the 29th best team is the team I thought would probably be the worst team, but I had OKC come in below them. We have the New Jersey Bombers. Now, I said their pitching rotation with Garrett Cole would be their strong suit, as they also have Josh Hader and Liam Hendriks in the bullpen, although Josh Hader did not pitch an inning in spring training. It's Garrett Cole, who had a 4.4 ERA in spring training, which is not great, and the rest of the lineup was pretty horrible besides Griffin Koenig. So the pitching, which is supposed to be New York's strong suit, was dead last in the MLB in spring training. And then the offense, oh boy, the offense does just not have anything going on whatsoever. I mean, they have young Robert Poussin, young Shang Langeliers, who will develop sooner rather than later. You got Gio Urshela and Chris Davis, but nothing much going on here. They have one player over 80 on their offense. The pitching should win New Jersey some games, but right now they are not looking any good. And if I'm correct, there are no injuries in the league right now. So New Jersey just not looking good right now. And 28th, a bit of a shocker, it's the Mexico City Roadrunners. Now this team, they have Mike Trout. So he will single-handedly win them a game or two. Just look at those numbers across Mike Trout's career. Unfortunately, their best player besides Mike Trout is a closing pitcher, and you have another reliever, but it's Marcell Ozuna besides Mike Trout. So That's a little concerning. And the pitching for this team scares me a lot. Shohei Ohtani had a 6.4 ERA in the spring over 26 innings, which is not something you like to see. And their second best pitcher, Jordan Balazovic, 5.1 ERA. The only pitcher below a 3 ERA is Danny Duffy. And Daniel Megden, that's about what you can expect from him to pitch. But Yasiel Sierra, the top 3 pitchers on this team underperformed a lot. And then you have a decent bullpen. But then you look at the lineup. Other than that, it's a little underwhelming. I mean, you got Mike Trout, obviously, Ozuna, Starlin Castro leading off as a nice leadoff man, and then Eduardo Escobar, Christian Vasquez. So it's not the worst offense in the league. Definitely better than like New Jersey's, for example. Helia Ramos, he's going to be like a super weak link. He's probably not even going to, against no DH teams. Although he isn't, we will have to have a DH. Will not start, but that's still a bit concerning. I have them 28th, probably worse if not for Mike Trout. At 27th, this should make some people happy as an NL West team I'm dogging. It's the Vegas Gamblers. There's not much going on in this Vegas offense besides Howie Kendrick and Chris Bryant. Other than that, a lot of no-name guys. Obviously, Brian Anderson is a guy people know. Didi Gregorius is a guy people know. Adam Duvall off the bench is solid. You got Bobby Witt Jr., who will be developing. He's the second best prospect in baseball as of now, according to the game. Also, Ronald Guzman should be developing into a solid first baseman eventually. Also, Malik Smith, not as young and as fast as once was, but he's still 26 and has some potential. But Chris Bryant should be the anchor of that. And then the pitching, Mike Soroka is going to be an excellent pitcher for this team. But other than him, it's a bit scary. You kind of like what you see from Zach Plesac, but Ryan McMahon, Jace Vines, Chris Bassett, a little scary. And then their closing pitcher is Tyler Clippard. Michael Lorenzen, in my opinion, should be their best reliever, and he has a 5.4 ERA in the spring. That's a little rough for Vegas, so I have them at 27th. Let's speed this up a little bit. 26, we have Vancouver, the Wolverines. There's nothing to excite you about this team. The pitching, it's Lance Lynn as their ace. He had a good spring, but nothing too exciting here. Alex Wood, Chris Archer will be guys who will do things for you. Although Chris Archer had a pretty terrible spring. And then the lineup, nothing too inspiring either. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton's going to hit dingers. Victor Robles is a young guy. But other than them, this team is not really ready to compete, in my opinion. So that is where they will sit right now. Special mention to Jonathan Villar. I didn't shout him out. At 25th in the power rankings, I had the San Antonio Bulls. Now this, in my opinion, is the most boring team in the league. Could they win some games? Definitely. Their strongest point is their pitching with Noah Syndergaard, James Paxton, and David Price. The pitching will be good. And then they got Taylor Rogers out of the bullpen. Pedro Strop, Joe Kelly are also two pretty strong relievers. So the pitching is solid. Thor can be exciting, but no one else too exciting. Then the offense is why I call this team super boring. Your best player on offense is going to be Matt Chapman, who kind of goes about his business, obviously. You got Jose Abreu kind of doing things. Nick Senzel could develop and be a nice, exciting player. Matt Carpenter, he's been around forever. He's 30 now, back in his home state of Texas. You got some young guys developing on the bench right now who could make this team exciting. But this year, I don't have high expectations for San Antonio. 24th, the team who just signed legend Albert Pujols. Where are they? There they are, the Omaha Rough Riders. Omaha, why they earned some points? They got Clayton Kershaw. That's a thing, obviously. A 1.85 ERA, 103 whip in the spring. That's kind of exciting. And then you got Marcus Stroman. Didn't do great, but Marcus Stroman will do Marcus Stroman things. And then you look at the lineup. That's why I'm kind of dinging them a bit. They have Mookie Betts, Kyle Schwarber, Brandon Lau, and Starling Marte. So definitely things you can work with. Um, but then this bottom half here, like Pablo Sandoval, Albert Pujols, Will Smith could develop. So the offense isn't too bad either. They just didn't really perform in spring for me. And I bumped them up a couple positions. I had them originally a little lower, around 26th in the power rankings. I bumped them up actually after taking a look at the roster. I just think they spring ball, but I'm not gonna have high sky expectations for them if they didn't do anything huge. So then we're gonna go to the 23rd best team in the league, and it's going to be, if I can find them, the Atlanta Dragons. The Dragons have Chris Sale, Johnny Cueto. Um, those are the guys you like for them pitching. These other guys, like Gio Gonzalez, had an over 6 ERA in spring ball with 24 innings pitched. The bullpen isn't anything super exciting. And then their offense was 28th in the league in spring ball, OBP wise and batting average. So their offense has not been too exciting. They have Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's going to develop into something good. George Springer is their 3-hole hitter, and Trevor Story. So that's kind of fun. Keston Hiura is going to develop. Jesse Winker will get better. So there's definitely a lot of room to grow. Christian Pache will take over George Springer's job someday, and if he doesn't, he will at least take Randall Griffiths. He is a high potential prospect. He even has his picture in the game already. So some excitement in Atlanta, but then you also got like Kevin Kramer playing second base. That's not exciting. So Atlanta's at 23 for me right now. The next team here we have is the Jacksonville Fire, coming in at 22 in the power rankings. There's some exciting parts of Jacksonville. The part I'm most excited about is the pitching. Pitching, they had Patrick Corbin and Eduardo Rodriguez, both really low ERAs in the spring. In spring ball, they came in with the third best batting average in the league. You can't really go over a lot of defined stats because people play different amounts of games, but I think batting average is still a decent one. Julio Teheran, 3.13 ERA through 23 innings. It's not horrible for him. And then you got Andrew Miller in the bullpen, always going to be a reliable guy, even though as of recent he's been a little down. The pitching excites me a lot, and then the offense is pretty exciting too. Whit Merrifield, Juan Soto, Michael Conforto, JT Rizzo, Wander Franco is definitely going to get better. Yolmer Sanchez. So things you like to see here in Jacksonville. These are the teams where things start to get a little more exciting. Although as I say that, we're going to go ahead and flip to a team that doesn't really inspire much in me, the Memphis Smokies. They got Nolan Arenado. Arenado is going to go about his business, get things done, and play the right way. Along with him, you got Yoan Moncada, Yasmani Grandal, probably the best catcher in baseball, if not JT Realmuto. Elvis Andrus is a good leadoff man, so you got some stuff to work with there. I don't know if you want Charlie Culberson playing second base for you necessarily, but yeah, he's there at least. And then the pitching as of now, playing out of their mind. So I got to give it to them for that. Jose De Los Santos, a 1.5 ERA, 104 whip. John Lester playing great so far. Sonny Gray playing very well. Mike Minor, bit of an oof. But I don't think Mike Minor's in this team's long-term future, and Chase Anderson struggled a bit. But 3 pitchers playing out of their mind right now for Memphis is why, if they can carry that season, why I think they have the potential to be the 21st best team in baseball. Not talking playoffs yet, but still an exciting team pitching-wise. 20th, we have the Massachusetts Undertakers. Looking at the pitching, like Lucas Giolito, 7 ERA, that's a little scary. But Arias, Jordan Montgomery, Alex Manoah, pretty solid spring ball for all of them. And then you got guys like Adley Rutschman, who they drafted early on. He's going to be their starting catcher. Not sure if he's ready yet. Francisco Lindor, always an exciting guy. Gene Segura is going to be around. So the offense, definitely a little lacking for Massachusetts. But, they performed at about 500 ball, and they came in at very average around the league as far as offensive numbers and defensive numbers go. Offensively, Massachusetts came in at or defensively, pitching wise, they came in 10th in the league, according to my metrics, and then batting wise, if I can find it right, but they came in at 19th. So pretty average numbers. They're going to come in at 20th. 19th, we're going to have the Wisconsin Warriors, who I think have a lot of potential to move this number up. They have Trey Turner, Cody Bellinger, Jock Peterson, Jorge Alfaro, who has a lot of potential. Then over here developing, you got Jason Dominguez, Tyler Callahan. So some exciting young players here, especially Bellinger, who could be here for years on years with them. Of course, his contract, he's going to arbitration, so they should be able to keep him until at least 2023. So that's exciting for them. And then the pitching is also a thing I'm really excited about for Wisconsin. Mike Clevenger, Luis Severino, Dinelson Lamet, even though he didn't pitch at the highest level in spring ball. These other guys, even though Dino Roca pitched pretty well, but Clevenger and Severino, to have both of those guys is pretty exciting for Wisconsin, pairing those two guys with an offensive power like Cody Bellinger. Then we're going to go to 18th. I have the Louisville Bats. Louisville had the best overall ERA in spring ball. 2.86 from Zach Gallen, 3.18 for Herman Marquez. We're going to ignore Dallas Keuchel, 3.52 from Cole Hamels, and 2.81 from Daniel Norris. Then the bullpen pitched out of their mind. Despite the lower numbers from the bullpen, I'm pretty excited about a lot of these players and what they can bring to the table for them, especially if they can pitch the way they pitched in spring. I have them a little lower, though, because their overalls aren't super high, and I'm not sure if they can sustain it. And then additionally, the offense has a bit to be desired. Of course, you have Rafael Devers, Javi Baez, Eddie Rosario. But other than those guys, I guess you have like Framil Reyes, Nick Madrigal is going to develop. But other than them, nothing too inspiring offensively for Louisville. But their pitching was lights out in spring ball, so I'm going to throw them in at 18. Coming in at 17, I think I just blew by them. No, I didn't. 17, we have the San Jose Buccaneers. Justin Verlander, he's going to do your Justin Verlander things for you. Then the young guys are going to pitch like young guys in spring training. And then Rick Porcello, I don't expect him to make it through the year as a starting pitcher for this team. And then the lineup's not super inspiring either. It's young guys again. That's what I'm saying for a lot of these teams. Young guys waiting for them to develop. And that's going to be the theme for most of the teams down here. And then there's a lot of win now teams we're going to get to. These guys are not really in win now mode. Gleyber Torres is only going to get better. Reese Hopkins is only going to get better. Just a young overall roster. That's going to be a waiting game for San Jose Buccaneers if you're a Bucs fan. So they're going to come in at 18th. At 17th is a team that I think has crazy potential, but I'm not ready to say big things for them yet, and that's Indianapolis, the Rush. This is right in the middle, or almost the middle. This is right below the middle, the 16th best team in the league. And I don't know how to think about this team either way. The offense, you got like young guys like Ian Happ is a young guy. Manny Machado, he's not necessarily young. He's 27, so pretty much in his prime. Mike Yastrzemski, he's 29. He just made it to the big leagues, though. And then you got some older guys. Yasiel Puig, Robinson Cano, Yadi Molina, Ryan Zimmerman. So they're pretty old offensively, but the pitching, oh my God, the pitching excites me so much. They came in as the fourth best team in spring ball, and that's because Greinke had a 5 ERA, but he won both of his games. The other guys, Charlie Morton below a 4, Aaron Nolan below a 3, Mike Mikolas below a 3, and Mike Fiers. Oh my God, Mike Fiers. The weak link in his pitching staff had a below 3 ERA. The bullpen, probably going to be a little weaker, but wasn't a problem in the spring. If you look at those numbers there over on the side. So Indy, just below the most average team on the league, who I will deem to be when I get to them, the Columbus Panda Bears. So the pitching, you look at it, you go, I'm not too sure about that. Carlos Martinez, he pitched very well in the spring ball. Jose Quintana, that's not the best numbers for him, but Jose Quintana has really been the best player for the Cubs as of recent. Robbie Ray, we're going to ignore Robbie Ray's number. Good God. Joey Lucchesi, good numbers. And then Alex Young, yikes. We're going to not bother with that. And then the bullpen. Shane Green, he only pitched 6 innings, so the 0 ERA isn't that. And Trevor May looked good. Jose Leclerc. So the bullpen, the overalls don't look exactly the highest, but not many teams high overall bullpens in this league. The offense, you got Jose Ramirez leading off. You got Tommy Pham, who wasn't previously here. He was down in Double-A, but now Tommy Pham is the 3-hole hitter. Joey Gallo's the DH. So there is some excitement on offense here for Cleveland, or for Columbus. I'm going to keep calling them Cleveland because it is the Indians, and they have Jose Ramirez, who they used to be. But there's some excitement. Trey Mancini as the 5-hole hitter. These first 5 guys, minus maybe Scooter Gennett, who had a 4 home run game in his career, are super exciting. And then Bichette in the 7th hole. They're very average. They don't do anything particularly. They didn't play super great in the spring ball by my metrics. They were right in the middle of the league at 15th in batting average, and they were 13th in pitching. So that's why they sit there right now. So now we're going to go to the teams I consider above Columbus or above average. We're going to go to a bit of a team that I might have underrated right now because they performed very well in spring ball, but I just don't see it right now. They have Mad Bum as their pitcher. He pitched out of his freaking mind in spring ball. So that's one reason they did really well. He had a .29 ERA in 30 innings pitched. That's pretty impressive. And then the only player to have an above 4.5 ERA is Brad Keller, who's a young guy. He'll get that under control. And then the lineup, you got Ronald Acuna and Josh Donaldson. That's really exciting. And then the rest of the guys, this team is in win now mode. They want to win now. If they did win now, I would not be shocked. But just like the holes in the offense are not super deep. First baseman, Felix Ornelas, I don't know about that. Elvis Vizcaíno, Yoenis Cespedes, big especially if he gets injured. That's scary. Yoenis Cespedes will be coming off the bench, though, but this is the AL, so actually he won't be Adam Eaton's your DH. He's pretty good. This team's in win now mode. I just don't know if they have the complete pieces, and they underperformed just a little bit. So the next team we're going to go to is the Washington, D.C. Eagles. D.C. was a team I initially was a little skeptical on. Hold on 1 second. I was a little unsure about them, but they performed very in spring training. I had them 10th in offensive rating, and I had them 21st in pitching, but I weight the offense a lot stronger than the defense, because that's what MLB The Show weights more, especially as we'll see later with some of the top teams. But they played very well in spring ball. And looking at the roster, I bumped them up a few spots because Bieber pitched very well. Woodruff was good. And then Luke Weaver had a 1.5 ERA through 24 innings pitched. That's pretty exciting. And then the offense played Jordan Alvarez was one of the best spring ball players this year. He had almost a 400 batting average. Yoli Gurriel, he's played well. He's older, but this team's in win now mode as well. Of course, they have young Aristides Aquino. Lourdes Gurriel, he's pretty young. Who is Dom T. Williams? I don't know. He's a young center fielder. You got Chris Shaw coming in here being the DH. When they need a DH, they are the NL. So this team has potential. I might be a little high on them right now, but I have them up there based off the potential I think they have. And now the rest of these teams, these last 12 teams, I think are my playoff teams right now. Now, I didn't split them up, AL and NL. I just think these are the 12 playoff caliber teams I have right now. So the first team is the Michigan Machine. I was raving about their infield in the video yesterday with Simmons, Fletcher, Suarez, and Pete Alonso, all right there in the infield looking excellent. Their outfield's not bad either with Jorge Soler, Brent Gardner, and Kutch. Also, Austin Nola as a solid catcher. Not the best offensive numbers, but he'll get the job done. And then a DH and Adam Frazier. He can split second base reps with David Fletcher, who is probably the weak link on the infield. Offense, mega exciting for Michigan. The pitching is where they have their downfall, but they signed Adam Wainwright just the other day. They got Max Fried, who pitched very well in spring ball. And then your issue is going to be the other three guys and who's going to pitch well for you. They have Jordan Hicks, one of their early picks. He's going to develop into a good reliever. And the good thing about this team is they're still pretty young. Of course, Andrew McCutchen's getting a little older. Jorge Soler's only 28. Brent Gardner is obviously pretty old. But Pete Alonso, although he is a pretty old rookie at 25, he's still a rookie. Eugenio Suarez is 28. So this team has a pretty open window to develop those pitchers and become a thing. So maybe not this year. They could make the playoffs this year. But I have Michigan as the 12th team right now. At 11, I have the Denver Dreamers. Most colorful team in the league. I have them here because of Blake Snell. Blake Snell is going to be their ace. He's going to probably win them a lot of games this year. The rest of their staff is pretty ugly, especially Sandy Alcantara and Mike Montgomery. Shouldn't really be starting pitchers in this league yet. The offense is what excites me. Brian Reynolds played out of his mind in spring ball. Hold on, I got to pop up on my computer. Let's get rid of that. Perfect. Brandon Crawford out of his mind as well. Anthony Rendon, almost a 3.9 batting average. Eloy is going to figure things out. Josh Bell's nuts a lot of the time. And then they got Roberto Perez. That's not going to persist. The 1.69 average, he'll get better than that. Then Sam Hilliard and J.J. Bleday will fight things out for that right field spot. I like what they have here on offense. And then defensively, Yanni and Blake Snell should be able to hold things down. Blake Snell excites me a lot for that ace pitcher for Denver at 10th. I have a team with a lot of potential as well. They didn't necessarily perform in spring ball as well as I wanted them to. If you come over to the standings and you go down, they were 12 and 14. But, look at their pitching staff. Walker Buehler, Hyun-Jin Ryu, Kyle Hendricks, Frankie Montas, and Trevor Williams. The numbers in spring don't show it besides Walker Buehler's, but this pitching staff could be ridiculous. And then offensively, Carlos Correa, Max Muncy, Ramon Laureano, Avisail Garcia. D. Gordon's obviously a very strong hit for contact running second baseman. Very fast. I just like the potential, especially with the top three pitchers here for the Cobras. They come in at 10th. Then number 9, we're going to go over to the New Orleans Rams from the NL Central. These guys are in win now mode. Altuve getting a little older. Goldschmidt getting a little older. They have pretty young Corey Seager. He's going to be a thing this year, though. Miguel Cabrera. David Bodie's going to develop this year. So is Joey Bart as their starting catcher. Maybe not a guy you want to be a starting catcher quite yet, but he's going to be forced to that position. And then you got 3 pitchers I really like. And Jack Flaherty, Tyler Glasnow, and Mike Foltynewicz. Their numbers in spring didn't show it, but I really like what they have right now. So they're going to come in at 9th in the league for me, the New Orleans Rams. At number 8, a team that surprised me. I wasn't really expecting them to be one of those top teams for me, but it's going to be the Seattle Lightning. Tim Anderson, the batting champs, their leadoff man. They got Cesar Hernandez in the AL. They're going to use him as the DH. You got Michael Brantley, Aaron Hicks, Jesus Aguilar, Ozzy Albies. That's going to be a meat grinder. Even Tucker Barnhart at the end. And then everyone's 8-9 guys are a little questionable. You even have Brian Dozier off the bench, which is kind of exciting. So that's their lineup, which is very exciting. And their pitching's not bad either. Garrett Richards pitched out of his mind in spring. Jose Barrios and Corey Kluber are going to always do great things. We're going to ignore Freddie Peralta, Jesus Christ. And Marco Gonzalez pitched very well for them. So they're going to come in at 8th. And these teams, Seattle onward, I think, are contenders right here, right now. I think those other teams I listed are playoff teams who could make a surprise run or dark horses, but these next 8 teams are teams that could definitely win the World Series. Next, hold on just 1 second. Okay. So the next team I have here at number 7 are the New York Monarchs. Now the pitching's rough. And they pitched very well in spring ball, or that's relatively well for what they have. They had the 19th best average in spring ball. And that's mainly thanks to their bullpen with Dylan Betances. Well, of course, Roberto Ozuna didn't give up a run all spring training. So the starting lineup is rough, but the offense you have to like from New York. They came in as my second-rated offense in my metrics, and you can see why. Colton Wong, Willie Adames, J.D. Martinez, Nelson Cruz, Mitch Garber. You even got the Todd father in there. That's going to be a meat grinder. Dion Venner, Tristan Casas, Alec Thomas. Not exactly a super exciting last 3 guys, but they're young. They're going to get the job done. And the rest of this offense is scary, especially J.D. Martinez, Nelson Cruz, Mitch Garver. It's like 1 through 5 spot here is just a grind to get through, especially like the second and third times around. New York is going to be a tough out, but the pitching scares me a bit. I have them as a contender, but just the pitching has them below these other teams for me. At 6 coming in, we have the team I was hyping up as my favorite team, although I'm not supposed to play favorites here. It's the Portland Penguins. They have the best pitcher in baseball, so that's obviously going to help them in Jacob deGrom. They also have Luis Castillo, who struggled in spring ball, Yu Darvish. The other pitchers, we're just going to ignore them for now. Matson Gore struggled in spring ball, but again, at spring ball, Keone Kala was pitching really well in spring, as well as Scott Arberg and Sir Anthony Dominguez. That's going to be a very difficult bullpen to deal with. And then the offense. Obviously, they just added Sin-Chu Chu. They have Paul DeYoung working with them. And then, just like the other teams, 1 through 5, Inciarte, Votto, Blackman, Jeff McNeil, J.D. Davis is going to be rough to get through. Also, the bench. Carson Kelly can come in and replace Victor Cartini. Can't understate that. Drew Jackson coming off the bench. He's a solid player despite his spring numbers. That can't be understated, is the depth of this Penguins team. And the pitching is what I'm super excited about. Number 5, coming in, we have the Montreal Bobcats. The main reason they're here, obviously, is Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg. Probably the top 2 pitchers in baseball. Besides Jacob deGrom, they're probably 2 and 3 for me right now. And then the other guys pitched out of their mind. They came in as the second best pitching staff for me behind Louisville, who played the least games of all the teams this year. And Andrew Chafin, Michael Givens, and Darren O'Day pitched very well as well. So the pitching staff for Montreal is nuts. The offense, not as inspiring as some of the other ones I mentioned. Of course, Eduardo Nunez, not really the leadoff guy you want. Ben Zobrist, kind of getting up there in age. But you got Anthony Rizzo, Nick Castellanos. The offense is a bit scary, but I just love how the pitching's been right now. Obviously, if these guys come back down to earth, they're not going to be a championship contender, but if they keep pitching at the level they pitched in spring ball, Montreal will contend. Top 4 teams. First, the best team in spring ball. I'm not ready to crown them champions or anything yet, but the Orlando Wizards. Offensively, they had the best offense according to my metrics, OBP, batting average, all over the board. Didn't even play the most games, which helps in an average a little bit. But their hits and runs were up there very high as well. Justin Turner, Christian Yelich, Matt Olson, David Dahl, Ryan Braun, Marcus Semien, Dustin Pedroia, Jason Castro, and Tom Murphy are interchangeable. They have a lefty and righty combination there. And then Greg Allen, they have a switch hitter in there as their leadoff man. This probably will be the best offense in baseball this year, especially with Christian Yelich, who hit a frickin' 452 in spring ball. That's nuts. Pitching-wise, Marcus Walden, Carlos Carrasco, Zach Wheeler, Masahiro Tanaka, that's not bad by any means. They came in at 14th pitching-wise, which is why I have them at only 4th with that crazy offense. I don't think they're going to be the best pitching in the league by any means. They also have Kenley, though, as their closing pitcher. They have an elite closer. They have at least Carlos Carrasco can get you a win any given day. I like Zach Wheeler a lot. He was out of his mind in spring ball. So Orlando, definitely a team that can win the World Series. Don't even need things to go 100% right. They're ready. Coming in at 3rd, I have the Pennsylvania Hornets. Look at the pitching first. Trevor Bauer, Kenta Maeda pitched very well. The only player who really struggled was Joe Musgrove in spring ball. Tanner Roark was out of his freaking mind. Adam Savali, can't get too upset about that. You don't even have Brad Hand or Tommy. Sorry, I can't pronounce his last name. I know it. It's slipped my mind. They're not even the closer. It's Luke Jackson earned that job with a 2.95 ERA in spring ball. Bullpen and pitching, very good. And then offensively, you have division rivals, Freddie Freeman and Bryce Harper teaming up. On top of that, you have Xander Bogaerts there, Jonathan Scope doing his thing. So the pitching is probably the strong suit of this team, but you have three of the best offensive players in baseball on this team. So the Hornets are exciting, and they performed well. I have them listed as my 5th best offense, and I have them listed as my... Where are they? Charlotte. This isn't even Charlotte. I'm tripping. It's Pennsylvania. The 7th best pitching. Of course, I was thinking basketball, the Charlotte Hornets. I'm sorry, that slipped my mind. The Pennsylvania Hornets had the 7th best pitching, 5th best offense. So they played out of their mind in spring ball. That's why they're higher than the Wizards right now. Also, love Freddie Freeman. He can win you a lot of games. Now what I have is the best 2 teams. Number 2 coming in, I have Chicago, the Cyclones. This offense is a friggin' meat grinder. The only player I don't love in this offense, I guess 2 players, are Reese McGuire and Joey Wendell. Byron Buxton, Jorge Polanco, Alex Bregman, Edwin Encarnacion, Tommy La Stella, Corey Dickerson, Alex Verdugo could all have crazy nights. And then for Reese McGuire, they have guys like Luke Mail, Steven Vogt who could come in if he's struggling. And then Joey Wendell, you have Jose Peraza, who is a proven second baseman who can come in for him if he's struggling. I love the offense here. And then pitching-wise, Chris Paddock, James Centalion, Jake Odorizzi, 3 very solid starters. And Ryan Yarbrough and Zach Goodley are nothing to scoff at either. Zach Goodley had the best ERA of anyone on the team, or on the of the starters in spring ball. Arodys Vizcaino, definitely a capable closer, although it's Jose Alvarado's job right now. they're just solid everywhere. I can't see a hole in the Chicago team at the moment, besides maybe like middle relief or long relief if they get into trouble. If one of these pitchers gets into trouble, but the pitchers are so solid around the board, I'm not worried. Which leaves one team to be my preseason pick to win it all. I'm not picking this because I want to, but because the numbers speak for themselves. I have the LA Tritons as the best team coming in. I have them as my fourth best offense according to the metrics and their sixth best pitching according to it. So, the lineup, look at it. It's nuts. Look, of course, Luis Garcia, but they're in the NL. So let's just ignore the DH. What they have other than that is potentially something special. Peralta, Mercado, LeMahieu, Judge, Contreras, Scott Kingery's young, Justin Smoke, good hitter, and then Diaz at third base. That's exciting. That is an exciting offense there. And then pitching-wise, the pitching is a bit lacking. But they performed very well in spring ball, especially the bullpen, which is very exciting. Seth Lugo, Archie Bradley, Chris Martin. The bullpen was excellent. Looking at Jonathan Holder as well, they barely gave up anything in relief in spring. The starting pitchers are a bit scary, especially since they don't go as far in spring. Felix Hernandez is a bit scary, but David Peterson pitched very well. Logan Webb pitched very well. Sean Manaea will pitch well. He's had a no-hitter in his lifetime, and Heath Fillmyer pitched well. They're my best team in baseball right now. So, tomorrow, we will have opening day. So, we looked at all the spring training stats. I'm going to sim to the regular season now. And as we look, are there any Wednesday games? Doesn't look like it. Looks like opening day will be Thursday. So let's take a look at the schedule, wherever that is. I know there's an option to look at like the schedule for the whole league. Forgive me. Semi. So I'll find the schedule later. We're going to cut that part of the video out, but we're going to end it here. Thank you guys for listening if you tuned in. This obviously isn't such a key video. It's just power rankings, it's predictions, and it's preseason predictions at that. But I will join you guys tomorrow with spring training. So hope you enjoyed the video tonight and see you guys tomorrow. Did I say spring training? For opening day. I'll join you guys tomorrow for opening day. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.